We begin with your next weather. We had a wet weekend and we're tracking some more unsettled conditions as we head into the work week. Thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Jordan Jagalenzer. We want to get right over to our next weather forecast with meteorologist Jacob Wyckoff. Jacob, the good news is there will at least today be some drier hours for anyone that has to get out and get some stuff done.
Exactly. Yeah, the second half is definitely going to be drier, perhaps even brighter in some locations, depending on how much sunshine we can squeeze out a little bit. But it has been a soggy stretch yesterday, continuing right on into today. There is a chance that we pick up a little bit of snow north and west of town tomorrow. Cooler than average week ahead. This is what we're watching on our satellite and radar. We do have kind of the last push of some of the showers. Notice the back edge there. I do expect us to see some gradual clearing over the next few hours. By 2 o'clock or so, most of us should actually see some of that cloud cover breaking up a little. The warp front has lifted to the north. We're going to see milder temperatures building in. We'll start to see the drier air building in too for the afternoon, right on into the evening. Now tonight, overnight, we expect a little wave of low pressure to ride along the front. That could bring some wintry mix north and west of town. Wouldn't surprise me if Boston even picked up on some of that wintry mix. Mid to upper 50s for our afternoon highs. Our rain chances are really confined to the morning. Then we start to clear out, and temperatures, once we clear out, will also kind of skyrocket a little bit. We're being held in check by some of the clouds and the rain that are currently in place. Overnight, back into the 30s, a few showers and some wintry mix will move through the area. These are the areas that we're expecting to see the best chance for some flurries, maybe a light coating along and north of the Mass Pike. If there were to be a place that had maybe some minor accumulations, it would be in parts of northern Worcester County, northwest Middlesex County. As you go to the north into the Green and White Mountains, that's where you would see more significant, and even then 1 to 3 inches isn't that big of a deal. Winter not over just yet. Temperatures in the low 40s for tomorrow. It is a chilly day tomorrow. We're going to hold on to rain chances and precipitation chances Monday and Tuesday. We dry out for Wednesday and Thursday, and as we look ahead, we can see Thursday's definitely the pick of the week. In fact, mid 50s, that's about average, but with the sunshine, it's going to feel a whole lot different than Monday and Tuesday in the low 40s. Again, Monday, we're watching the chance for some of those showers and snow showers to move through the area. Jordan?
Jacob, thanks. At least 16 people are dead following violent storms that stretched from Arkansas to Ohio. Those strong storms damaged buildings, flooded roadways, and produced dozens of tornadoes. The National Weather Service warning of more severe flash flooding in the coming days. Karen Reed's murder retrial will continue tomorrow. Reed is accused of killing her boyfriend, Officer John O'Keefe, in Canton in 2022. So far, 10 jurors have been seated. They need 16 to officially begin opening statements. That could happen as early as this week. Meanwhile, residents in Canton are sounding off following the release of an audit into its police department. The force came under fire for its investigations into the deaths of Boston police officer John O'Keefe and pregnant resident Sandra Birchmore. WBZ's Samantha Cheney has that story.
This is an important step toward healing divisions in our community and rebuilding trust.
For 3 hours Saturday afternoon, residents gathered in Canton High School sounding off on their concerns.
And how we make sure that our residents are treated in an equitable way.
The meeting comes after the company Five Stones Intelligence released an independent audit of the Canton Police Department.
If you don't hold people accountable, then how are they ever going to know what they need to do?
Canton police have been criticized for the role they played in several investigations. This includes the death of Boston police officer John O'Keefe.
There were no pictures taken. There was possible exigent circumstances or a protective sweep.
Look, the death of John O'Keefe was tragic, and the way that investigation was handled and mishandled is why we're all here.
Auditors found missteps in Canton's investigation, but according to Five Stone officials, there was no evidence to support conspiracies that police framed defendant Karen Reed for the murder.
There's a lot of reasons that don't involve corruption or gross negligence, weather, training, equipment, time, experience. So what people should take away is that the current police administration embraced the audit, they welcomed the recommendations, and they've implemented them.
The goal of the meeting, it was to help Canton police build trust with the community. Samantha Cheney, WBZ News.
We're learning more about the Needham High School band teacher who is facing child pornography charges. We now know that he also worked at a Newton Elementary School in recent years. The Newton school superintendent says Spencer Parrish taught music at the Horace Mann Elementary School during the 2020-2021 school year. Due to the pandemic, he only taught in person for 3 months before he left the district. The rest of the time he taught virtually. The superintendent has sent a letter to the school community saying in part, quote, "At this time, the police are not aware of any students in either district that have been harmed in any way." The superintendent says Parrish passed all background checks both in Newton and in Needham. A Fall River police officer finds himself on the wrong side of the law. He's been arrested in Boston on human trafficking charges. Officer Mitchell Walsh was taken into custody as part of a sting operation related to an ongoing investigation. Boston police say an officer posing as a 15-year-old child was contacted by someone later identified as Walsh after an undercover ad was placed on a website used for prostitution. When Walsh was arrested, police say they found cocaine and alcohol in his vehicle. Walsh was already on leave from the department due to unrelated personal matters. Anti-Trump demonstrators took to the streets in cities across the country, including right here in Boston. Thousands of people marched through the Common to where City Hall is. Several Democratic leaders spoke there, and the Dropkick Murphys also performed. Many demonstrators are upset at President Trump's new tariffs. The president says it's the beginning of what he calls an economic revolution. Bradley Blackburn reports.
From California to Colorado, in Chicago and New York City, the crowds at hands-off rallies had countless messages, but one shared mission: to protest the policies of President Trump.
It hurts a lot to watch what's happening to the country.
Americans around the country are out on the streets saying, no way.
Investors are bracing for the week ahead after stocks plummeted last week. President Trump's 10% tariffs are now in effect, with higher reciprocal tariffs set to switch on this week. Cameras caught a glimpse of President Trump as he left his Florida golf club Saturday. But in a post on Truth Social, the president called the changes an economic revolution and told Americans to hang tough.
Their tariffs are not only imbecilic, they're illegal, they're unconstitutional, and we're going to turn this around.
Rallies were also held overseas with crowds in Paris, London, and other European capitals.
The policies Trump is following are a threat to the world as we have come to know it and enjoy it as very privileged Westerners.
Today, we really want to send a message of solidarity to our friends and families back in America.
President Trump returns to Washington, where he's set to meet with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu this week. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
It's official. Boston Mayor Michelle Wu announced her re-election campaign Saturday. Mayor Wu is being challenged by Josh Kraft, the CEO of the New England Patriots Foundation. This is Wu's first re-election campaign. Pope Francis made his first public appearance since being released from the hospital 2 weeks ago after treatment for double pneumonia. The Pope entered St. Peter's Square at the Vatican earlier today in a wheelchair to greet crowds. The 88-year-old had been out of public view since March 23rd when he gave a short greeting before leaving the hospital after more than 5 weeks of treatment in the most serious health crisis of his 12-year papacy. Thank you for joining us, everyone. The news continues streaming at cbsnews.com/Boston. If you're watching us on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. Have a great day.